recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having practiced criminal defense law for 27 years and acted as a judge for 12 years prior to my 17 years now in Congress, I understand Fourth Amendment principles and understand the concept of a reasonable expectation of privacy, but I cannot wrap my head around the concept of a reasonable expectation of privacy in data that has been acquired over the open market by anybody who wants it, like Russia or China or Iran or North Korea. That's data that is purchased every day by our adversaries. Why should not our own government be able to acquire that same data that we certainly have no reasonable expectation of privacy in, given the fact that it's on the open market? However, we in this country can certainly rely upon the Constitution and its principles to protect our privacy, especially when privacy concerns bump up against security concerns. We've lived through harrowing terrorist attacks on U.S. soil and through attempts by foreign actors to meddle in our national elections. That's why, while taking affirmative steps to protect our civil liberties, we must give our intelligence community the tools it needs to protect us. Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is one of those tools necessary to protect our national security. Due to the classified nature of much of the work that's done under Section 702 FISA authority, Americans will never know how it has kept them safe, the degree to which it has kept them safe. They will, through politicians, hear of problems with implementation of the legislation and demonization of those who would access that information to protect us. In the real world, law enforcement can patrol the street to monitor suspicious activity. They don't need a reasonable expectation of privacy in order to be out on patrol. We need to bring real world processes to the cyber world. And Section 702 allows us to do that, letting law enforcement patrol the information highways to neutralize threats. However, just as cops have certain limitations, the intelligence agencies have limits on their ability to search the Section 702 database when it comes to U.S. person identifiers. If the agency's investigation is related to national security, then a database search using U.S. person identifiers is allowed when the agency believes it is, quote, reasonably likely, end quote, that such a search will retrieve foreign intelligence or evidence of a crime. And if the agency's investigation is unrelated to national security, then the agency must get an order from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court before it can search the database using U.S. person identifiers. In the past, it seems that the FBI has fallen short due to, among other things, lack of proper training on the limitations imposed on them by law. In this day and time, when politicians recklessly demonize government in general, and the FBI and DOJ in particular, the public is susceptible to claims that the FBI willfully defies the law, abuses its power as a regular course of conduct, and as some have argued, is generally, quote, bad. I respectfully disagree with the assessment of the 38,000 employees of the FBI, including special agents and support professionals, many of whom put their lives on the line every day to protect us from danger, both foreign and domestic. And I would also point out that it's not about bringing this administration to heel. These FISA excesses existed during the Trump administration and before. In the past, I'm heartened to see that the Department of Justice is working hard to improve agency compliance with the civil liberties protections in Section 702. I look forward to continuing the dialogue on how we can improve compliance with Section 02, how we can improve the act itself. And with that, I will, well, I don't have time.
Yeah, you can't yield anything back. You don't have any time left. But thank you, though. Yes, I knew you did. And we'll now recognize the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.